Hello, welcome back to Off the Pitch. Transfer window is shut. What did you think of the signings then, George?
Uh, I have to be honest. The Sancho one, I was not a supporter of the whole time. I mean, now he's signed. He's obviously God's gift. He's going to be like the player he was at Dortmund. But no, I mean, thing is, 20 million initial loan deal, 20 million obligation. It is cheap for a player, for Jadon Sancho, the player at Dortmund. It's not cheap for the player Jadon Sancho at Man United. Um,
I
so
think
look,
that's a fair
we'll see.
assessment.
Yeah,
I think
we'll
that's
see.
a really fair assessment. Like, I want to disagree with you, but I think that's about as fair as you can get.
Yeah, there's a player in there. I mean, everyone
There
knows
always
there's a
has been,
player in
right?
there. Yeah, but does he have the attitude? Is he going to be prepared to work? Hopefully, this is the new lease of life he needs to like kick on and get back his career back on track. I mean, it'd be good for England as well, right? Because that left wing slot has been a bit of an issue for England. He could fill in there and do a fantastic job if it's a good version of Jadon Sancho. So I'll get behind him. Of course, I will. I'm not convinced he's going to start for us immediately. He's going to have to get up to full fitness. He's going to have to prove himself. But I mean, I hope he does well. I
It
don't.
looks like
It's
he's
not one
putting
of
a
those.
bit of timber.
Yeah, yeah. It's not one of those exciting that's going to get me out of my seat immediately. The one I wanted was one of Osimhen or Tony. That obviously didn't happen.
Hmm.
I'd seen actually Osimhen's going to Galatasaray on loan. You got to think from his agent's point of view, like why would he didn't want to go on loan initially. He wanted to go somewhere permanently, and
Yeah.
he's now going to Galatasaray, which is a step down from Napoli. When he could have gone to Chelsea, which is a step up from Napoli in
Or,
terms of the size of the club.
or Saudi Arabia, right?
Who have gone to Saudi and taken a huge pay packet, and he's ended
Yeah.
up, he would have had to take a pay cut to come to us, but it was still like 300 grand a week off final offer. That's not a bad wedge, is it really?
Especially in the current market, the way the current market is. It's only Saudi have distorted the market, right? Like everybody else is cutting their cloth accordingly. It's not just
Yeah,
Premier League, it's around the globe, right? And
yeah.
like I said, Saudi's an
Not
outlier. So
Real.
if you're after the money, go to Saudi, right? And
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen Tony stay. I would have loved him at United because he's a finisher, like, and he'll take his chances.
But
But
Cully, close to what? 600 grand a week?
no, but
Yeah, it's mad,
let,
isn't
let
it?
me let me get to the point. He's 29. 3 years, he's going to make generational wealth, not just money for himself. In 3 years, I would have taken that offer in a heartbeat.
Is that would his by moving to Saudi? Is his England career over then?
Yeah,
What England career?
Okay.
What
true.
England career? You know,
True.
I mean, everybody's saying his England career is over. Slipping it, like what? He's played
I
two
do
more
think
games
it,
than I have.
but I do think it's a shame. Like
No, it
Jadon
is a
Sancho is a
shame.
good player. He could have done a job at any of the big. I mean, he's not going to start over Haaland, right? But he could have done a job as a useful player, certainly for any of the big six teams, possibly as a big high impact player for everyone except for City. I mean, I'd probably have him over Jota as an out and out nine for Liverpool. I'd probably have him over Jackson for Chelsea. I'd probably have him over any of United strikers. I'd have him over Havertz. I mean, I've made that pretty clear before. So it's a shame that he's gone there. Yeah,
But
but what can you say?
money talks, right?
Does indeed.
Fundamentally.
Yeah, when it's 600 grand a week, it's not just talking; it's singing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And
So I can't blame
talking of high wages, Sterling's moved to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a move.
Pierce said that would be great for them.
Yeah.
But I think he was still in bed. I think he was still in bed. Playing game. But
Yeah.
God, I'm finding myself agreeing with George, and this is painful. It's just a painful.
He can enjoy watching Sterling.
You know what? I think it's, how can I put it? I think it's a good move. It's an extra body. That's my thought on it. You know, they've got a good team. Is he worth that much money? I know they're splitting the wages and all that. It's not a bad deal for them.
It's not bad.
But to me, it's just an extra body. He has to produce, right? I think whether it's a good deal like any transfer, whether it's a good deal or not is determined by what he produces. Sterling hasn't been producing. He's been missing in important games, important moments, important penalties, and all, everything important. Sterling has been absent, right? So I can understand why Chelsea want to get rid of him. Just like I fully back United getting rid of Sancho, and you take the cut. Sometimes
you look at his career, right? And at Liverpool, great. Man City, Chelsea, and now Arsenal. Big four teams.
Yeah, because he's a household name. He's considered a good player.
And he started young. Let's not forget how many years he's been playing. He's been top level for years.
Yeah.
He was so bad for Chelsea. He cost us so many games, so many goals. And it was like every single game, I would be at the ground and everyone is just talking about, get that guy off. Please get him off. And he'll scrape like the dodgiest assist or the dodgiest goal, and he'll get his name on the team sheet for the next 5 weeks. But he is one of the most frustrating players to watch play, because every now and again he'll do something. Oh, that's quite good. But he doesn't impact the game enough. He just hides. He just goes completely.
I'm going to say one thing then about all of this, and I was thinking about it from last time about your whole Kai Havertz stuff and how he was rubbish for Chelsea, and Pierce was, he might be good for Arsenal, he might not, but there's always been players who have been great at one team, move to another, been shocking. And for me, what comes to mind is Fernando Torres.
Yeah, but Torres was injured. I think Torres is different. It's rare that a player then, what's rare? The player then goes on to another club and goes back up on that massive spiral upwards. Yeah. It's always down. And then maybe they get like half decent, but they don't ever kick on to the levels that they were. Torres was injured when he came to Chelsea, and he was never the same player. I think Carragher's talked about it. Yeah, look at Sanchez. Yeah, Carragher's talked about it before. They could see the decline of Torres, and he came to Chelsea, and he didn't do as bad as people said he did, but he wasn't what he was at Liverpool, of course.
No, this is the thing about Torres. I know he comes to mind for myself as well. He wasn't as bad. He had a different role. He was linking up as well. At Liverpool, he was just on the end of things. At Chelsea, he was linking play up. So he wasn't going to hit the numbers. And I'm defending ex-Liverpool and Chelsea. Right? But at Chelsea, he wasn't as bad. His role changed. He dropped a bit deeper. He was nowhere near as bad as Alexis Sanchez. You know, if we're talking about that. But
he scored some crucial goals.
George, just going back, he lost me a lot of money I had Chelsea to win 2-1 in Barcelona, and that went and made it 3-1, and it cost me a fortune. But do you think with Sterling, it's a bit of the Michael Owen? They started so young, they burst onto the scene. And now they just Michael Richards, they started to that burst has cost them on the tail end of the career. I'm not negating what amazing careers either of these players have had.
Yeah.
Or what I'm saying is the tail end, it's just, we're seeing the decline.
I completely agree.
This is where I'm going to bring it back to United, but this is where somebody like Cantona, who went at his peak, leaves a legend. Right? He was 30, 31. He said he'd lost the passion. Was he slowing down? I don't think he was, but when he wasn't feeling it anymore, and now he's just loved. Nobody saw his decline, right? Where these guys are, Owen carried on, and Owen's admitted that he never, the state he was in and that.
Yeah, and I think it is a bit different because Owen was plagued by injuries, but again, you look at players
the general drop-off I'm on about, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't the same with Wayne Rooney, because I think he did play for that little bit longer, but he didn't play until his 35, 36.
Yeah,
he was
33
at the top level by 31, 32. That's when he was done. He was still a very good player, but he was not Wayne Rooney, prime Wayne Rooney. Sterling's even younger. He's 29. There's exceptions to the rule. You have your Messi's, where he came onto the scene at 18 and he's been ridiculous till he's 36, 37. But yeah, I agree. If players jump onto the scene at 17, 18, it's rare you see them really good into their mid-30s.
Yeah, and I think that's why Vardy's still doing the business, because he started late.
True.
We're moving it along, and
look at Thiago Silva as well. He was a late bloomer, and he's playing at he was unbelievable for Chelsea last season. He was probably our best player. Hey, no. And he was like 39.
You got Chelsea's latest signing over at your house.
Yeah, I was going to get them to do a walkout. Yeah.
They've run out of hotels in London, so the fans are having to house them. All right, that's the only joke I'll do on the squad side.
And Man United signings, what do we think?
I'm over the moon with them. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm over the moon. I thought, I know we're going to go on to it, but I thought De Ligt had a half decent game, right? He had a decent game. I like De Ligt. I've always have. I wouldn't put him at blame to any of the goals. I mean, 2 of them were pure Casemiro, right? Like, and we're seeing a great player.
Who was the other one?
It's the same conversation again, right?
Yeah.
We're just seeing the fall from grace. And I know I'm a United fan, and some of you are gonna revel in our demise, but just individually as football fans, it's horrible to see great players play like that, you know.
But also Brighton. Right? You weren't here last week, Cully, because you're probably crying, and also then to add to it, comment about Wolverhampton.
Yeah, and Duncan a hat trick.
And then so it's always a double whammy for you, but Brighton, shameful. But they're
Brighton drop points though. You know, Arsenal drop points to Brighton. Let's not forget that Brighton are going to upset a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Right. Brighton are a good side, and is
Havertz missed a very easy one-on-one as well.
Brighton, the one with the 31-year-old manager.
Yeah.
Your grandson, isn't he?
Makes me sick, mate. Hey, near me, West Brom. He could be my son. He'd be what, 15 years younger. I've seen parents that age in West Brom and Sandwell. Shout out to the West Brom Tesco bag fans. But yeah, I mean it's unbelievable. But the football,
I'm actually looking.
They're playing is you know we're 3 games in. Brighton. It's too early to say it, but Brighton have done it again. You know, they're pretty good at this.
And I'll have to admit, Chiesa, I'm looking forward to him.
Yeah. A good price tag on that, 10 million up to 13.
Price. Yeah, it's a risk-free gamble, right?
Yeah, to an extent. I don't know what salary he's on. Do you know what wage he's on? I imagine it's pretty punchy.
150-ish, they've said.
Yeah. Okay, that's not terrible. But Cole Palmer's on 120.
I think they've done that Chelsea thing of incentives.
Oh, but I thought Chelsea weren't getting anything right with their contracts.
No, the incentive thing. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right.
Interesting.
I didn't say it's right. I said that's what I believe they've done. Anyway, moving
on that note.